Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to I Hate Rock Music. And occasionally I do videos about newer bands. Generally focus on a lot of late 60s, early 70s stuff into the 80s. But I occasionally do newer bands that I'm impressed with. And I don't know if they'll be as much interest as my regular crowd. But I'm going to do them anyway because I think a lot of the bands I listen to now are few and far between, and I still really like the late 60s, early 70s music, but there are new bands that really impress me, and in this case, it's a band called BB Bomb, and they're from Taiwan, and I'm really impressed with a lot of bands that are coming out of Japan and Taiwan and China and Asia right now because first of all, a lot of them are really young and already have incredible technical ability, and then a lot of them are really very high energy, very angular, uh, very fast, a lot of punk elements, but there's just a crazy disjointed angular quality to bands like Otoboke Beaver and Melt Banana that I just totally love. And BB Bomb is one of those. They're a little more straightforward punk than a lot of these bands, but I'll post the stuff below and check it out, and we'll see if you like it. And I can see that a lot of people that like vintage punk, including the Ramones and things like that, will probably really enjoy BB Bomb. But the other thing that's interesting about them is they've been together since 2003 and met in art school. And so in their 22-year career, and they've only released two albums officially. Their first album, BB Bomb, in 2019, and their second album, Practice Songs, in 2022. And they're starting to get a little more notoriety and starting to play internationally. And actually their first show outside of Asia was a Calgary, Canada show the last couple of years that was curated by Otoboke Beaver. So Otoboke Beaver from Japan are obviously championing this band, and they're a really awesome trio. Su Pai Singh on guitar vocals, Jiang Bao on drums, and Even on bass, and I'm probably totally butchering those names, but a great trio. Another thing about these Asian bands I love too is that there's a lot of young women in these bands, and once again, it's really surprising that they have the technical abilities that they have so young, and then of course having these female Japanese singers, a lot of times just spitting out these vocals at breakneck pace, and a lot of times in Japanese or Taiwanese, really makes them really that much more interesting. But two albums, and but they've also put out a number of EPs, a mini album in 2004, an EP in 2005, and another CD collection in 2013. So there is a fair amount of material out there. Some of it you can get, some is a little trickier, but I'll post below what there is. There's a couple of great videos of single songs, and then their newest record I'll post below too. But as I mentioned before, that these Asian bands are just amazing. Short, fast songs with female singers and all the elements that you would get from great UK and American punk bands and even vintage punk bands. But they just put their own spin on it, and particularly just these amazing, frantic, complicated, angular, jagged arrangements that really makes a lot of these Asian bands stand out. And I highly recommend one of my playlists on this channel is a playlist called Japan Rocks, and it has a incredible roster of insane Japanese bands and Asian bands, and there's quite a few of them. And so I'm going to add BB Bomb to that roster. They're new to me, but I look forward to more work by them, and hopefully I'll see them live. Luckily, I've seen Melt Banana and Otoboke Beaver live, and I hope to see BB Bomb. So anyway, check it out. I hope somebody discovers a new band they enjoy. That's the whole reason I do these videos, both to expose obscure old records that people haven't heard, and then maybe turn them on to some new bands that I personally enjoy. So thanks for watching. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I hate rock music.